You step into the shadows and are enveloped in total darkness. Your heart pounds in your chest, ears pricked, eyes wide despite the inky blackness, waiting for any sign of movement. There, she's about to strike. We're screwed. I know, this wasn't part of the plan. We were supposed to come down here prepared. Oh, what's the use? You just barely make out the shape of teeth and eyes as the princess emerges, enormous maw gaping, ready to swallow you whole. And you step into the shadows and are enveloped in total darkness. Your heart pounds in your chest, ears pricked, eyes wide despite the inky blackness, waiting for any sign of movement. That's right. Keep steady. Don't let your nerves get the better of you. There, she's about to strike. With the near silence of a determined predator, the princess erupts from the shadows. But you've already started your swift escape. That's stage one. Now stay focused. You dive into the tunnel and begin scrambling up towards the cabin. You hear her behind you, claws raking at the dirt, chains rattling, then snapping, breaths hot and heavy with the effort of the ascent. But the sounds are coming slower now, the breaths pained and stuttering. You no longer sense frantic motion behind you in the tunnel. You risk a glance. She is a broad and sickly creature, her withered and emaciated flesh clinging to bones too large to fit in the narrow space. She managed to squirm her way into the tunnel in pursuit, but now she's stuck, incapable of either moving towards you or returning to the open darkness of the basement below. So that's what she's become. She wasn't like this when we started. Was she? No, she wasn't. Looking at her makes me feel sad. Yeah. Now that we can see her, she doesn't feel like much of a threat at all. She paws futilely at the air between you, but her shoulders are pinned in the narrow confines of the opening. She has no hope of reaching you. And she realizes this. Her arm goes limp, flopping to the dirt floor of the tunnel, but her eyes fall from yours, defeated. Her eyes look up at yours, wide, pleading. Come back, you can imagine them saying. Don't leave me here. But you shouldn't listen to the sad eyes of a vanquished enemy. She wants nothing more than to change places with you. If you want us to ignore her, then why would you tell us any of that wide, pleasing eyes begging for mercy business to begin with? All it does is make us feel conflicted. I'm merely describing things as they are. It's not my fault that her eyes had something to say, even if that something was a ploy, which, if I might stress, I pointed out to you. What should we do about her anyway? Can she still end the world like this? She hurts. We should help. Now let's think for a second. Let's reevaluate. Should we help her? Well, I do feel bad looking at her. There's no way to get close without being in reach of those claws. We've come this far, but can we trust a creature that until a few short moments ago fully intended to eat us? What an excellent question with an equally excellent answer. No, you should not help her. She's clearly just waiting for you to drop your guard. Beyond that, you do well to remember that she poses a threat to reality itself. You already have a weapon, and she's as vulnerable as she's ever going to be. How about you use it? You turn back towards the exit, leaving her behind. But the tense silence of the tunnel is suddenly interrupted by the panicked, guttural wails of a creature in distress. She has redoubled her struggle against the confines of the earth around her, the very walls shaking as she desperately thrashes against them. She is stuck here, right? Of course, it's too small for her to get up here. But is up here stable? I
don't know. I didn't think about that when I started to plan all this.
It isn't. It's only dirt and stone, and she is very, very big. Hurry! You do your best to scramble up towards the exit, but you barely manage to get halfway before the ground beneath you begins to crumble. And she is getting closer, her breath hot on the back of your neck.
Damn it all. This whole thing is just an exercise in futility, isn't it?
No words, only action. Keep running. But the tunnel collapses before either you or the princess manage to reach the exit. Everything goes dark and we die? Oh no, you're perfectly fine. You're just buried under literal tons of earth, as is the princess.
Why, for the love of everything, did I not think about the stability of the tunnels? I'm supposed to be smarter than this. I'm supposed to have a plan for everything.
This is all my fault. I was the one who started worrying about this place falling apart.
And what, you think worrying made the tunnel collapse?
I don't know. Maybe.
It was physics. You can't change things just by thinking about them. That's ridiculous.
Bickering and bickering doesn't matter, because now we're here, stuck in a dark place. Not a place to move, not even room to dig. Something shifts in the gloom around you. An eye opens. The wet glint of it pierces the darkness, its pupil focused on you. The princess. At least she's as stuck as you are. Not that it'll do much good in the end. Stuck is still alive. But it's not alive forever. I can smell the end all around us. Sweet and empty. This is where we die. I'm going to lie down now. The eye stares at you with resignation, a glimmer of regret. Are we going to be here forever? Is this my fault? I wish that were the case, but she's too far away for you to reach, and even if she weren't, your arm is pinned. Can you make it unpinned?
Of course he can't. We've been over this. You can't just change reality on a whim. That's what makes it real.
He's right. There's nothing I can do here. I'm sorry. No more circles to run in. It's time to sleep.
If we had wiggle room, he would have said we had wiggle room.
He's right. There's nothing I can do here. I'm sorry. No more circles to run in. It's time to sleep.
Good luck with that.
You do your best to move your body, but try as you might, your earthen coffin doesn't budge in the slightest.
This is pointless. Just give up already and die a miserable death with the rest of us. And then we'll start again and we'll do better.
A while, you're stuck, not injured.
I wonder what'll get us first. Suffocation. Thirst.
We could always just let ourselves die. That doesn't sound like you. I thought you were all about survival. Only when survival is possible. There's nothing left for us here but suffering.
Hate to break it to you, but you can't just decide to die. Death is something that happens to you. It's external. It's a consequence.
You almost sound like you think we deserve this.
We made a mistake. It's what's supposed to happen to us. It's the only way we can learn.
The princess's eye closes in concentration as she attempts, and fails, to move her body. I'm afraid you are both stuck.
We all know where this is going, so get on with it.
A tear clouds the eye. It's okay. It isn't. If this is the end, don't reconcile with this creature, revile her. This is her fault. She did this. A tear clouds the eye. I'm sorry. Don't listen to her. She's not capable of feeling remorse. The only thing she's sorry about is being stuck here. If this is the end, don't die offering her forgiveness. She doesn't deserve it. A tear clouds the eye. It's okay. It isn't. If this is the end, don't reconcile with this creature, revile her. This is her fault. She did this. Oh, and I suppose you think this is my fault? As if. You had your chance to save the world, and you squandered it by turning your back on destiny. Deciding not to do anything is still a choice. This is on you. You have free will, and you decided to use it.
We all know where this is going, so get on with it.
All right, I'll go into extra detail, just for you. The weight of the world you have destroyed rests on your chest. It both crushes and cradles you, holding your lungs in a stasis where you can never take in quite enough breath for comfort. Your limbs ache, muscles screaming in their locked positions, one arm slowly growing numb as your blood struggles to reach it. There is dirt in your eyes. They fill with tears. Okay, I think that's enough. We get the picture. Skip to the everything goes dark part, please. No, not quite yet. I haven't even gotten to the starvation, or the thirst. That gnawing that starts as a nibble, a little reminder that despite it all, you're still alive. You can see that she too feels herself being eaten from the inside. Her gaze never leaves you. Any semblance of thought has vanished, replaced with a desire for the only thing that can sate her hunger. You can feel a strain as your parched mouth attempts and fails to water. But even with a dry tongue, your hunger is such that you can't help but think about what her flesh might taste like.
Don't think I'll forget how much you're enjoying this, you sick bastard.
Don't worry, the end is close. Your mind grows cloudy as your blood slows, your chest trying to suck in enough oxygen to feed your starved muscles, your bruised ribs doing little more than bumping up against hard, packed dirt. You aren't even sure you have limbs anymore, and whether the vacant ache where they once were is just the memory of limbs. Any second, you might breathe in one last, shallow, perfect. Well, are we almost done yet? He's gone.
And we're somewhere new. Is this what happens when we really die?
As you draw near, she readies her claws, raising them to strike. Don't flinch. Show her our resolve. If you're going to attack, might I suggest you do so quickly? Violence is still a mercy here. It's still help. Yeah, maybe this is what's best for everyone.
I still think leaving would have been best, but we haven't seen what happens after she dies. It could give us some answers.
You rush forward, your confidence carrying you with enough speed to avoid her desperate strike. Your blade sinks deep into her chest. So we actually did it. Why does it feel so bad? Killing the weak always does.
I don't think she's dead just yet.
She isn't. As you dig towards her heart, she howls with an earth-shattering shriek, and then... We're at least taking her with us, right? Yes, but not without paying a grave price. She lashes out, tearing you open.
Another death and we've still learned nothing. I knew leaving was the right answer. You should have listened to me.
It doesn't matter now. In her final moments, she made sure that there would be no way out for either of you. It's over. You reach forward, offering the princess your hand, but she doesn't take it. She remembers the glint of our steel claw. She certainly does. In a surprising burst of speed, she swipes at you, her claws meeting your throat. Bad. This is a bad thing to do. Against the wise protestations of the little voice in your head, you flinch. The princess's claws rake across your body, tearing you open. The blade tumbles hopelessly from your faltering grip as your blood spills onto the dirt below. You fall forward and she hooks you with her paw, dragging you towards her. You start to grow cold. She prods you in an almost sorrowful confusion, hoping for some reaction. But there is no reaction for her to find. Your body is irreparably broken. I don't think she wanted to hurt us.
And yet she did. Intent matters less than facts.
Her sorrow doesn't last, and when it's gone, she begins to feast. Pray again. It's all just a circle, and it never ends. The princess's eyes go wide as the blade tumbles from your hand. You're going to get yourself killed.
What are you doing? We could all just turn around and be done. What's your game?
You and I both know there's no game. He's made a bad choice. As you draw near, she readies her claws, raising them to strike. Don't flinch. Show her our resolve. You reach forward, offering the princess your hand. How ridiculous. She was about to kill you. Do you really think getting stuck in a tunnel for less than a minute has fundamentally changed her? Yes, she's a victim of her own nature, just like we are. If all she wanted was to kill us, she'd have kept trying. But she's hesitating, isn't she? Yes, she is. Her eyes shift from faux ferocity to confusion to a gentle sadness. She lowers her claw and places it in your hand. Ugh. Do you think we can pull her out of there? We have to try. It's a bad death being stuck in place.
And what if it doesn't work? What if we can't trust her?
We have to trust someone else eventually. It's either him or her, and I know you don't trust him.
I don't even trust the rest of you, but that doesn't mean we have to go around pulling bloodthirsty monsters out of perfectly good traps.
But we haven't seen what happens if we help her. Doesn't that mean it's worth exploring?
I can't argue with that. All right, let's see what happens. Maybe we'll finally get some answers.
You tug, but the princess remains stuck. What a shame that the bones of her massive form are too large to fit through the narrow tunnel. Keep pulling. All he has are empty words. He can't undermine us if we don't listen. You are all infuriating to work with. But fine, you continue to pull on the princess's arm and she starts to budge. She pushes with her back legs, clawing at the earth, a burst of strength aiding your efforts. The dirt and stone start to crumble around her. That's the spirit. Keep going.
Yes, quickly, before the whole tunnel comes down on top of us.
Yes, wouldn't that be an interesting development? What if the very nature of this tunnel was such that you were incapable of leaving safely with the princess? How devious. Does it collapse? Yes, it does. As you pull the princess free, the tunnel around you does exactly what you thought it might do. It falls apart. Trapped. No, we have to get out. We have to get out. It's too late to scramble for freedom now, little voice. You didn't think just pulling her out of there would be consequence-free, did you? Well, the ceiling collapses. Heavy stones tumbling down on top of you and the princess, and I don't believe it. Let me guess. Everything goes dark, and we die. No, not yet. You open your eyes to see the princess, her body stretched over yours, her face wincing as she shields you from the heavy rocks and debris. There is space enough for you to move, at least for now.
I'll be damned. So there's more to her after all.
The pack is always stronger than the lone hunter. We save her, she saves us. She understands. Well, you can't keep saving each other forever. We can always dig. Both of us.
It beats suffocating to death down here in the dark.
Then let's do it. You and the princess dig through the loose earth of the collapsed tunnel together. How sweet. But it seems the harder you try to claw your way forward, the denser the path becomes. All of this effort, and for what? A chance to end the world? I hope you fail. His words are nothing. Pay attention to what you feel and see. It doesn't matter if you ignore me, because I'm just telling you what's happening, and what's happening is that you and the princess are getting tired, and your mouths are full of dirt, and it's getting harder to breathe.
Harder to breathe is still breathing.
Well, either way, the two of you are miserable.
I don't know, I feel like we're forming a bond with her. Can't be all that bad if we're bonding.
She's not capable of bonding. Need I remind you that as soon as she saw you, she tried to eat you? You are not friends, and as soon as you're out, you'll see just how seriously she values your life.
If you were so sure we were going to fail, you wouldn't sound so desperate. You're just hot air. There's nothing of substance to you at all, is there?
I have plenty of substance. I have feelings and desires. Like my desire to save everyone in the world. I feel that very strongly. Do you smell it? Fresh air. With one final massive heave of her body, the princess pushes her way out of the tunnel, leaving you behind in the quickly collapsing space you once shared. Yours was an alliance of convenience, just as I predicted. She has left you to die, buried and alone.
You are unbelievably petty.
Oh, my pettiness is nothing compared to yours. You were delighting in my suffering and the damnation of the entire world just moments ago. She hasn't left. She's coming back. Don't you hear her? No, she isn't. She's...
How many times do you have to be wrong before you stop talking?
The princess stares down at you from the opening. Before the tunnel can finish sealing itself, she cranes her elongated neck and gently plucks you from the earth. She carries you across the half-collapsed ruin that was a cabin, carefully setting you down by the door. If there were to be a record, let it show that I tried. I really, really tried. But there won't be a record, will there? You open the door, the two of you stepping out into the fresh air and collapsing together onto the dewy grass of the outside.